So with for now, I just want to kind of understand and comprehend the view, and then maybe I can offer some pushback.
Great, yeah, great.
In ways that would help me understand it even better, or maybe understand it where the biblical justifications that you what you'd see as biblical justifications. So first, just understanding. So I see the Ten Commandments as like kind of verbatim, like this should be enshrined not only in the hearts of every Christian, but in every government. Yeah, because that's a layer that's in here. You haven't really pointed it out, but right, in every government should have the Ten Commandments as part of their laws.
Yes, sir.
And
I would say that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and in addition to that, let's look at the rest of the law outside the Ten Commandments. We're going to say the civil law. We have principles we can draw from that. Mm-hmm. We're going to say the ceremonial laws. That is stuff that is fulfilled in Christ and points to Christ, and we're probably not going to find principles, or at least as many.
Right. So with the ceremonial law, I would say that they're and this is what's difficult, right? So I think the three division of the law phrase, that language, three divisions of the law is vital and necessary and helpful for the most part. It falls apart at some level. It's not perfect language because so ceremonial. So for instance, there are certain ceremonial laws that I've got, some theonomic friends that were using that as part of their biblical argument against when it came to some of the civil tyranny that we saw during the last 2 years related to COVID. And so some of the forced lockdowns or being quarantined and these kinds of things, pointing to certain cleansing laws that are technically actually ceremonial laws. The priest has to go and look at the house and declare it clean or not. Basically, and it's a ceremonial law. It's actually dealing with, because why does the priest do it? Why doesn't Fauci do it? One, the priest you could probably trust more than Fauci, but beyond that, it's because it's spiritual. It's religious. It's a cleansing ceremonial law. But in it, though, there also is the God who gives that law has moral reasons, and the God who gives that law also understands leprosy and understands science and disease and pathogens and the way that they spread. And so you can actually look at some of these laws and say, but there is there something from the Most High God that we can learn, who understands sickness better than we do, and blah blah blah. But then again, it's like, but how far can you stretch that? Because this was technically a ceremonial law, and it may be good for leprosy. Is it good for COVID? And those kinds of things. So anyways, I say all that to agree with you in saying that it does get a bit hairy at times, because the three divisions of the law, I think, is helpful, and I think covers 98% of most laws that we can look at in the Old Testament. It's like, yeah, that clearly is a civil code. Yes, that clearly is a transcendent moral principle. Yes, that clearly is, like a woman on her period, but those kinds of things. But then there also is some of the moral reasons, like back in the day, if you're not good, if you don't have some of the sanitation and high heat cooking mechanisms and all the things that we have, then yeah, pork will kill you, and so maybe there, you know what I mean? So there are moral reasons, but these dietary restrictions and cleansing laws are first and foremost ceremonial, and we're saying Jesus fulfilled that. And when we use the word abrogated, just for the record, on the ceremonial law, there is a sense in which some theonomists like Rushdoony and these guys, they said, well, there is a sense in which the ceremonial law, it's not like God changed, right? Behold, I am the Lord, I changeth not. The ceremonial law continues in the sense that God is a thrice holy God, and he demands that his people be clean. But the reason why it is abrogated in a sense, it is effectively abrogated, is not because God's cleansing laws no longer apply, but because Christ was such a sufficient and perfect final sacrifice, and such a superior high priest, not in the order of Aaron, but in the order of Melchizedek, forever high priest. And because Christ has entered the heavenly temple, not the earthly temple made with human hands, but the substance of these shadows that we saw in the old covenant, because Christ has fulfilled the ceremonial laws so well, and so finally, the ceremonial laws, in a sense, we could say, do continue. We just don't have to do anything about them anymore because they've all been done. Big news, really big news. Our next Right Response Conference is in the works. We've got a number of things already lined up and organized. This is what we got so far. The whole conference, 3 days long, on postmillennialism and theonomy. And the speakers, Dr. James White, Dr. Joseph Boot, Gary DeMar, and of course, yours truly, Pastor Joel Webbon. We've got a great lineup. We've got great topics. If you want to find out dates and location and registration and anything else, go and visit our website, rightresponseconference.com. rightresponseconference.com.